the first coast-to-coast Pick 5.
An attractive Pick 5 sequence featuring Gulfstream Park.
And Santa Anita Park. Player-friendly 15% takeout.
A $1 minimum. Big pool.
Huge payout. First coast-to-coast Pick 5. Every Friday through Sunday.
And welcome to the first coast-to-coast Pick 5 seminar. Did you like the new beginning there? Let's face it, I thought I was going to do that wrong. Hopefully it turned out. Did it look good, Gino?
Producer Chappie, we're already 1 for 1. Great way to start the show. You're going to be getting Emmy Awards pretty soon, I can see, for just hosting this show. But we are pumped, probably a little bit of extra bounce in our step because tomorrow's one of those days that is about as good as a Breeders' Cup day. Honestly, when you go around the country with the volume of racing that we're going to have, we'll obviously be focused at Santa Anita. Then we'll be looking at Gulfstream Park. 13 stakes races between those two tracks. And we're going to be talking about an all-graded stakes coast-to-coast Pick 5 between those two tracks. We'll have the Big Cap to discuss. There are Kentucky Derby points on the line at both Gulfstream and Santa Anita. Even Aqueduct, they're going to have a pretty big day as well. They've got a couple stakes races over there, but we're going to be all back and forth between Gulfstream, Santa Anita. So much going on. I got a printout that was sent to me from Pete Rotundo from over there at First, and it's like pages of just all of the wagers, all of them low takeout wagers, Pick 5s over and over. DRF has free pass performances for a bunch of those wagers. So if you just check out the DRF account, they'll be all right there for you. I'm pumped, Skippy. I know you're ready to rock and roll. You've been firing away and looking at the workouts the last couple days.
I have. I put in a lot of work and I got a lot more to do, but I'm dialed in with this coast-to-coast Pick 5. Looking so forward to the Big Cap Day, and Fountain of Youth Stakes at Gulfstream Park. But I tell you what, man, I was watching old races of the Santa Anita handicaps and just, it gave me chills and goosebumps. And I'm so excited. It looks like the weather's going to be okay. No rain until Sunday or maybe Monday, but a little cooler weather, which I'm looking forward to. And hopefully we'll get lucky tomorrow and give everybody some good picks.
And Gino, obviously we've been thankful to the viewers and they've been tuning in. And the last few weeks we've been covering the coast-to-coast Pick 5, which we will. But this time we're going to try a little something different. We're going to do a little giveaway here to the people who are tuning in right now. And we got a little, let's call it bonus coverage, Gino.
When you tune in and you're watching live, we can see that you're a viewer and you will be entered into our contest. So all you have to do is continue to watch this stream all the way to the end. And we're going to pick 5 of you and give away a big cap, the big cap caps, the big cap hat. So just a thank you, because I've been reading articles and information. Everything has been going really well so far at the start of the meet at Santa Anita these first couple months. Handle is up, attendance up 9%. We're going to get purse boosts because of that, because we're getting more horses coming in from Northern California. And I will say, you'll get the cap, but I can't promise you're going to look as good as Chappie when you're wearing it. That's the only thing about getting those free hats.
I missed my calling. I could have been a cap model.
You could have.
Yes.
Definitely not a hair model, but a cap model for sure.
It's never too late. So yes, we will announce at the end of the show 5 winners, and then we'll have them mailed out. These wonderful hats, and say Santa Anita Park on one side, Yamava Resort and Casino at San Manuel on the other. Love it. It's like a corduroy, but it's super nice.
Are you going to autograph the 5 hats?
Well, no, because then people would sell them on eBay. They'd be worth too much money.
That's a step too far. We're giving you the cap at least. You know what I mean? So, like, you can come out to the track and knock on that office of Jeff Chapman if you need an autograph.
Yeah.
He'll sign one for you. No problem.
Away here.
Actually,
Absolutely.
Gino,
All right.
we might need Gino to sign that cap after hitting the coast to coast a couple weeks ago for 1,200.
That's right.
Feeling good.
12,000, excuse me.
Feeling good. We're seeing the ball well, but the key is, we all know, as horse players, it's always, what have you done for me lately? So this week, we're going to try to lead people back in the right direction. It's going to all start at Gulfstream Park. It's going to start in the Grade 3 Honey Fox. That's going to go as race number 12. It's a mile on the turf course. So we go Grade 3 to kick things off. That is a really, really difficult, wide open race. Then the 13th race at Gulfstream Park, that's the Grade 2 Fountain of Youth with Kentucky Derby points on the line. You're going to see Burnham Square, who was the Holy Bull winner. You'll see the Swale winner, Gate to Wire, Sovereignty, the Street Sense winner. How about River Thames, who is the actual morning line favorite in there? And that's a really challenging race. the 14th at Gulfstream Park. That's the grade 2 Mac Diarmida, 1 3/8 on the turf. So we'll be having horses go long on the turf course. Probably Grand Sonata, a lukewarm favorite. And then we head back to Santa Anita for a couple races. How about a couple grade 1 races in the Kilroe Mile? And probably led by me, Hermano Ramon. I think he's become kind of one of the mainstays out here in Southern California in that mile division. And then we got the big cap, and we got a couple shippers coming in with Hit Show and with Locked, who look like major players facing some of the local California contingent. So all graded stakes, coast to coast, pick 5, 15% takeout, dollar base minimum, no CAW wagering. And I think we're coming off the biggest coast to coast pick 5 pool we've ever had last week. They're projecting this one to be around 300,000, which would make it the biggest one ever.
Absolutely. So, and you know what? If you're listening and watching, drop a comment. We'll see if we can get some of those comments. We've got our social media team looking at it.
We'd love to hear from you.
I don't know if I can figure that out yet or not to see the comments, but I'm going to work on it. We'll see what happens. But this hat, 5 of them up for grabs. But let's get into the real meat and potatoes of what we're looking at. This is the pick 5 sequence. Gino, we're going to start with you. And like you said, all stakes pick 5. The first 3 legs are at Gulfstream. We're going to start at Gulfstream race 12, and that is the grade 3 Honey Fox. What are your thoughts here in the first leg?
So I'm going to throw a big one downfield here. There's a horse that I'm definitely going to be including on my ticket. That's 30-1 on the morning line. Now, I don't know if this horse will be that price, but I still think will be a very fair price. The number 11, Ready for Shirl, kind of interesting to me because if you look at this filly's overall form, she won her career debut at Keeneland in a really impressive race, going 1 1/16 on the turf course. Her first 3 starts were really good. And then she just kind of tailed off form a little bit towards the middle of the end of last year. Gave her a few months. They start her over at Gulfstream Park in January, and her comeback race was a really nice return to the races. I think she might be a little bit better than the speed figures would suggest. I know she's drawn to the outside, but the kind of trip she will get will probably be from off the pace. So I'm not sure if the outside post will impact her quite as much if she can just kind of drop back and make one late run. She's a really big, fun price that I'm going to be throwing in the pick 5 to start. I'm also a big fan of the 9 Pounce. I've played this filly a few different times. This is a really nice race condition-wise for her. She was going 1 1/16 last time out. This is a little bit too far for her. And those fillies in the World Cup Filly and Mare Turf, probably just a little bit beyond her scope, maybe a little bit better than her. This is a really nice spot for Pounce to sit close from the outside. Those are a couple of the horses who are going to be in the mix for me. I'll probably have some of the 2 see you around, but this to me feels like a spread out race, especially if you're looking at like the late pick 5 at Gulfstream, where there are a couple races that seem like they could be chalky. This one, I'm going to look for some prices, and I'll start out with the big one, hopefully 30-1-ish.
So a little bit of Spreadsville, but Gino is looking at a couple long shots in especially the 11 Ready for Shirl 30-1, and the number 9 Pounce at 6-1. Skipper, what are your thoughts here? And as we've seen, the payouts have been terrific, way more than the parlay. And if you get one price in there alone, even if you get some chalk along the sequence with the 15% takeout, with retail only, the payouts have been phenomenal, Skip.
No, absolutely. I've said it on the show before and on the radio show. I think this is the best bet out there. This is my favorite bet. For all the reasons that you just said. And all you need is one little crazy horse, and you can get 2 chalks or whatever, and you're going to get paid. God forbid you get a bunch of bombs and you're going to get paid real big. So with that pool expected to be close to 300,000 tomorrow or above, let's get lucky and try to hit this thing. I like a few of those that Gino said. I'm Spreadsville in this race also. A couple that I'll mention that he did not. One of them is Tax Implications. Chad Brown seems to, he started off the meet really slow over there. They were running good, but just weren't winning. He's had a few wins the last couple of weeks. Maybe the barn's starting to heat up. It comes out of the grade 1 matriarch. I got to use Tax Implications. And then a couple bombs I'm going to use are the 3 Cairo Consort. This horse has 3 of his 5 wins have been over the Gulfstream Park turf course. It's had some really good races over it. Then they shipped it the last race up to Woodbine, It didn't run any good. They ship it back here, give it back to Pletcher. Been working good at 20-1. Obviously loves the course. I'm putting that horse in. Poolside with Slim. I got to use that one. That horse worked real good the other day, February 21st, 46 flat, breezing. I love that Frankie Dettori jumps aboard on this one. It's got that tactical speed, and I think that horse will get a great trip. Another one I'm going to mention that's a bomb is Life's an Audible, the 10. This horse has 1 win in 2 seconds over the turf course. First time back when he was she was a 3-year-old, she ran some really good races. She got second, she got first in the Sweet Chant, then she ran second in grade 3, gave it a little time, came back. It looked like she needed that race on December 14th to me. They brought it back on the synthetic, and it looked like she was done on the turn. And all of a sudden, Johnny V got her outside, and she just motored past those, galloped out well. At 20-1, Life's an Audible's got to be on my ticket also. Those are the ones that I'll mention that Gino did not.
All right, so both of you are just looking to spread in leg 1. I defer to you. I only look at Southern California. So let's move on to the second leg. Skip, this is race 13 at Gulfstream, and this is the Fountain of Youth. We got some Derby implications here, and a couple of them I know that people are going to be narrowing in on. Sovereignty and Burnham Square both won impressively, and both had some trouble. Is there anybody else in here, Skip, that you've got your eye on besides a couple of the ones that not only won impressively but had some difficulty in their last races?
Yeah, I mentioned the 8, Keep It Easy. I really like this horse. I love what I'm seeing in the mornings. I know it's coming off a break. It's going long for the first time, and it's breaking from the outside. You know, all things will be against this horse, but I love the way it's training. And I tell you what, in one of the workouts, it broke behind a few that were not working in company with it. And boy, this horse split them and just went right past him. I loved what I saw there. This horse has some talent. It first time out at Churchill Downs, didn't run very good. Then it came back and it won by 4, won very easy. They put it right, and it was one of the favorites in the Saratoga Special grade 2, and it stumbled terribly at the start. Throw that race out, came back at Churchill again and sat behind horses and won by 5 1/4 lengths. And I tell you what, this horse has a nice stride on him, and I love the way that he galloped out. I don't think the distance will be a problem. I'm only going to go 2 deep in here. I'm using the 3 and the 8 on my coast to coast. I wanted to use the 6, but going long for the first time at 2-1, I'm going to take a shot. I like the 3 and the 8 the best in here.
All right, so 3-8 for Skipper in the Fountain of Youth. And when we talk about these workouts, we are talking about formerly, I guess, XBTV, now called First TV. But you can go on there and watch those works. We watch them all religiously because as we preach over and over again, times don't matter. It's how they do it. If you can watch them, especially in company, then look who they worked with. It helps tremendously, and you can get an advantage on other people that don't do the homework, Gino.
And if you're someone who maybe you're not quite comfortable yourself with watching the works, there are great workout reports. You know, from DRF.com has a clocker report that can help you from Gulfstream and for Santa Anita. So you can watch with your eyes and see if it matches what the clockers think. And that's a good way to kind of train yourself because you'll see what they see and you can understand for some of the people who are watching it every single morning what they're looking for out there. This is a really interesting race because it's a field of 8 now. The 5 solid left is scratched. He actually ran on Thursday, so he won't be in there. The 4 McKellen looks like a pretty big long shot. I couldn't really make much of an excuse for him last time out in the Mucho Macho Man. Any of the other 6 wouldn't really shock me. Honestly, that's what makes it pretty challenging. I mean, you have Gate to Wire, who just won in his first start on the dirt last time out. I'm going to probably play against Sovereignty in this spot. Just reading into Bill Mott and reading an article from DRF, you can tell that there's a gap in the some gaps in the works in getting this horse back. So that's what I'm a little bit worried about because I think for him, he wants to get a good second or third in this race and then be primed for his next start, that last prep, and then hopefully leading into the Derby. So I'm going to be a little cold on Sovereignty. I think I'm going to try to get out of this race using the 3 Burnham Square, who I think the horse still all have to hold off. There's really not that much early speed in this race, though. It's a little bit intriguing because I think the 3 to the outside the 6, 7, and 8, they could all be kind of jockeying for position a little bit. I am going to use the 6. I really do think he's going to get a great trip in here. I'm going to probably end up going 1, 3, and 6 myself, using those 3. I think I'll have them pretty well spotted for horse on the lead, horses sitting pretty close, and then maybe coming from off the pace, but really challenging race with Kentucky Derby points on the line in the Fountain of Youth.
So both of you were against Sovereignty. Very interesting. That horse did have a trouble trip last time, but that's why we look at it. And Skipper with Keep It Easy trying 2 turns for this first time. And, you're going to get a price on that. If you can, like we preach once again. Go ahead, Skip.
Yeah, with Sovereignty, I bet it last time when it won the Street Sense Grade 3, but I didn't like what I've been seeing in the mornings. Gino mentioned the works and what Bill Mott has been saying. I don't think they have this horse primed for this race. I think, like Gino said, maybe get a race into it, be ready for the Florida Derby or wherever they go next.
Yep.
But I didn't like what I'm seeing from Sovereignty in the mornings. I probably put him right in the winner's circle, but that's just what I saw.
Well, we were just talking about that before we came on, about some other races where we watch in the morning, and that's the way to use or sometimes toss horses. You're not always going to be right, but
especially in the evenly matched fields, right? When you're looking for like little things, they're all going to be separated by not much on the odds board. You're trying to poke little holes in everyone, right? And if one horse looks a little better in the mornings or is coming in with a really tight work pattern and the other isn't, to me, a lot of times that'll be the difference.
And we welcome in Bill Mott now. No, I'm kidding. We don't.
Right.
Let's go on, Gino. We're going back to Gulfstream. So the first 3 legs, Gulfstream, as we said, all stakes, all 5 races. This is race 14, and we're going 1 mile and 3/8 on the turf. And Gino, what are your thoughts here in leg 3?
So this is a race I think a lot of people will probably be trying to spread out to. It's a grass race, a lot of ways you can go. I'm definitely going to play one ticket where I'm singling the 9 Grand Sonata, who I actually think kind of stands out in this group. I think most of this group might be kind of a cut below. If you just look at what Grand Sonata was doing recently. So this horse won back in September, won the Grade 2 Turf Cup. And following that race, goes into the Breeders' Cup Turf and is just facing too tough a company that day, but it did have legitimate traffic trouble in that race. Comes back out of it, is in the Fort Lauderdale, and was behind Major Dude in Fort Washington. I think Grand Sonata in that group, just a little bit overmatched. He ran 4th, but if you're just looking at speed figures, he was running the same sort of speed figure in the Fort Lauderdale that he normally does, like that type of mid-90s buyer, if we're using buyers. And then in the Pegasus World Cup Turf, again, he's just in a little bit too tight there and a little bit too tough, but he comes back, he runs the same sort of race. The Fort Lauderdale is a prep for the Pegasus World Cup. So if you were probably in too tough in that race, stepping up and facing the group in the Pegasus World Cup, you're likely going to be in too tough there. This is just a much better spot for Grand Sonata now to get back to a really logical group. He likes Gulfstream Park quite a bit. So I will play one ticket where I think people might be spreading out in a race where I can maybe key in on one. On another ticket, I would use horses like Segoy, who can sit really close throughout. If you look at those last 6 races, there's really no knocks there. And then the other one would be Miss the Cut for me. If you just toss that Royal Ascot race and you look at what this horse was doing prior to that, those races in the Elkhorn and the San Luis Rey and the San Marcos, they would really fit well against a group like this. And we know Cherie DeVoe can get horses ready off the bench. There was a fantastic article about her that Marcus Hirsch wrote in the DRF. She was at Fairgrounds this meet so far. She's had 26 horses run in maiden special weights, and she's won 13 of them. So Her barn is just like rolling right now.
Skip, before I get to you, we're going to interrupt this program with our giveaway. We've got to go mid-show. We've added a lot of viewers as we've started. So
love it.
We are going to have a giveaway of this Santa Anita hat to 5 of our viewers right now. And we will announce the names at the end of the show and then ship them out to you. So these are very nice. Beware, you're not going to look as good as me. I am a hat model in the off season. But Santa Anita, kind of a corduroy, Santa Anita Park. It says Yamava Resort and Casino at San Manuel on the other side. And there you go.
Easiest hat you'll ever win. All you have to do is put up with us for a few more minutes till the end of the show. So, yeah, we're not asking a whole lot of you.
That's all it takes. Another 20 minutes, and then we'll
lead you to a winner or two even.
Maybe names, yeah.
We'll run into one by accident. Who knows?
So 5 winners. We'll announce it at the end. Skip, what are your thoughts in race 14? As Gino said, at least one of the tickets, he's going to be singling Grand Senada at 7-2 on the morning line.
I will not be singling in this race. I found it very tough also. I do like the 2 that Gino mentioned, Miss the Cut and Grand Sonata. I'm going to mention a couple other ones that are going to be on my ticket. That is the 5 Cash Equity. This horse ran really, really good last time. It kind of got stopped on the turn. It angled out, and it finished really strongly to just miss in that race. 5 definitely is going to be on my ticket. Sassy Joseph, man, he just rules, Gulfstream Park there. So I'm going to put the 5. Gino, you also said Segoy, the 8, right? Okay, that one's going to be on my ticket. Grand Sonata. My bomb in this race is the 10, Parchment Party. This horse is sneaky to me. The first 2 races in his career were giant at Churchill Downs. And I always thought this horse might like the grass. It's got that big stride, and I always thought, distance. This horse, since it's so big and it just doesn't really have that turn of foot, but it has that grinding just stride that just keeps going. The longer, the better for this one. What I think they did last time, Bill Mott, and, we might have him on the show later, as Chappie was saying. We'll find out. But I think that was a prep race last time.
You're ripping this horse. I had to scare you. Go ahead.
I really think that was a prep race. I think he might have had this race in mind the whole time. On that race, it steadied on the turn. It finished good. It galloped out real nice. Second off the bench, should love the extra distance. This horse is sneaky to me. It was on the 15th. It comes back. Tomorrow's March 1st. It didn't come back to work. I just think at 20-1, this is a big, good-looking horse with the white blaze on its. I think it's going to love the distance. So at 20-1, that one's going to be on my ticket. And then the other one is going to be Dashman. Dashman beat Cash Equity last time from the way outside, like he is again this time. But this horse won nicely. It was on my horse to watch list. Came back and won. Came back to work good, and it obviously likes Gulfstream Park. Brian Lynch is doing great. Louis Saez. So 12 is going to be on my ticket also.
All right, so we have breaking news here about our giveaway. So we're calling a little bit of an audible here. So our crack behind the scenes team and social media, they cannot see. We have many viewers right now. They can only see you if you make a comment. So you have to comment to actually get one. That was not known just now. So don't yell don't shoot the messenger. This is our first try at this. But
you've overwhelmed the servers. That's what happened. We've overwhelmed the servers. So many people are watching, we can't even help it.
I mean, if you get by me, as much as I'm good at technical skills like this, we've got troubles behind the scenes. So please comment, and then we'll pick 5 winners. So please, at the end of the show. If you don't know
what to comment, make it really easy for you. We have 2 grade 1s coming up at Santa Anita with the Kilroe and the Big Cap. Give us one of your picks for those races.
You can just say hi.
Tell us who you like in this 9th race at Santa Anita, the Kilroe Mile. If you weren't sure, say, Chappie, you're looking good. I love that hat you've got on. Any of those comments work.
I mean, look at this thing. You 5 people are going to want one. We might have to do this again.
Chappie, I mean, that's a nice hat, but you make that hat look even better than it is. I mean, you should have been a hat model, buddy.
Well, the more comments that come in, the more likely we'll be doing these things again, right? More likely we'll be doing these kinds of giveaways and stuff in the future here. So keep those comments in.
The rearview mirror type of thing,
Exactly.
One size fits all. No, it's adjustable hat. It's very nice. So please comment. I've got people from work calling me. They don't know when I'm doing live shows. We've gone off the rails here. All right. We're going into the 4th leg. So this is now I will have some info, by the way, as well, because we're going to Santa Anita the last 2 legs.
Let's start with you here, Chappie.
All right. Let's start with me. Hold on. I've got some notes here. So this is the grade 1 Kilroe Mile and race 9 at Santa Anita, leg 4. Yeah, obviously we've got plenty of pace in here, right? We've got Air Force Red and Cabo Spirit. Those 2 are going to go. So it's going to set up some horses, right? So obviously the first horse to talk about would be the 3 El Patente, who at one point we kind of thought was just speed, speed, speed. But as we've noticed, this horse can now sit. Loves to win races, loves Santa Anita, 5 wins and 7 starts here. This horse is going to get a great trip behind those two, you would think. Sitting third, gets first run on the closers. Dan Blacker, he's only won 6 of 9 races at the meet so far, so he's an absolute fire. Just won over in Saudi Arabia. I mean,
that's not even in that mix, right? That win doesn't even count in those stats.
I know, right? So obviously El Patente. Then we'll talk about the rail horse, Mi Hermano Ramon. We've always liked this horse for a long time. You know, Mi Hermano Ramon has gotten better this year, and this horse should get a great trip. Obviously, that man Flavian Pratt jumps aboard, and you know, we're not at 8-5. We're not coming up with anything that no one else is going to see. A couple other horses that I thought were interesting. That are going to be a little bit of a price. The 4 Formidable Man, and Michael McCarthy will tell. He's going to be on the show tomorrow morning, the Morning Line Sports Show. Good friend of the show, and if you ever heard him talk, he tells it like it is. So if you want to tune in, he will give us his honest opinion on this horse. Formidable Man had won 3 in a row, and the last time out, for whatever reason, broke from the rail. They sent, and they got, you know, basically caught into a suicidal pace going 46-1. This horse has taken the blinkers off. This horse is going to sit and make that run again. And I think this horse, because the other 2 horses are going to get a lot of play. So everybody else is going to be, I think, a little bit of an overlay. So at 6-1 on the morning line, I think this horse fits. And the other one I'll mention is Neat. As one, you know, fresh. This horse is coming off of a freshening, hasn't ran since October at Keeneland. Ortiz comes out. This horse has won 6 of 10 lifetime races, likes to win, and also should get a good setup. So those are the 4 horses I'm looking at. Should get a nice pace to run at. Gino, any other thoughts of the ones I have not mentioned? I guess I mentioned about half the field.
Well, the one in the 3, El Patente and Mi Hermano Ramon are the horses to beat. And as you pointed out, what's been really cool to watch with El Patente is as we see horses get better and get more mature and improve, and trainers like Dan figure these horses out a little bit more and get them comfortable, they start to relax more, right? And they can flip switches on and off like we've seen with El Patente. I think a couple times we tried to beat him thinking that there was going to be too much speed in a race and he would be one of the horses that got caught up in it, but he's not been. He's been one that can just sit right off nicely. So I do respect both of the horses who are going to be short prices in here. The one that's a big bust out price that I am going to include one more time. I've played him a few times before. He has actually had legitimate trouble though in his last 2 races, and he has a win over El Patente, and that's Zio Joe.
Yeah.
Who's a little interesting to me. He's going to get a rider switch too with Kyle Frey. And I think it's just because sometimes you're unlucky, right? You get in a couple bad spots. You just make a change after you have a couple trouble trips with someone. So that's going to be the case. He's going to go second start off the bench. He didn't run all that poorly in that most recent start. It was his first start back since November. If he's a little bit tighter and he doesn't get in some trouble, he's one of those horses where everything would have to go perfectly for him. But what's nice, we know he's capable of beating El Patente, who has the highest buyer speed figure in the field. So we know he has a really nice ceiling at about 20-1. So he got shuffled back. He lost some positioning. He angled out and he did come running, but there just really wasn't a whole lot of passing. El Patente sat that perfect trip. I think the 6 is the fun long shot to maybe include in here if they go quick enough early on.
Skipper, the only other one, and I want to get your thoughts on this. I wanted to like Almendares. I know we go a lot on the works. They're not here at Santa Anita turf works for turf horses. They are synthetic works though, and I think that translates a little bit better. I didn't love the last couple works, so I'm not going to use Almendares because of that. And at 12-1 is kind of interesting. I want to get your thoughts on that. I'm sure you watched the same thing I did.
Yeah, I did. And you know what's weird? On the Santa Anita feed today, Jessica Pfeiffer, obviously her father-in-law her father-in-law is Phil D'Amato. Well, she said that Phil said that this horse hasn't been doing better. This is the best that this horse has done. So I'm going off of that. And at 12-1, I'm going to use it just because of what she said. If there is a speed duel, I love the horses. I'm not using Hermano Ramon. I'm not doing it. Call me crazy. I'm using the 3 for all the reasons you said. He's been able to sit. This horse came home in 22 and change last race. That is flying that last quarter. And I tell you what, usually with speed horses, you wouldn't think that they would finish just as fast as they start off the race, but that horse does. Formidable Man, I always love blinkers off, Chappie. You mentioned that. Neat is a horse that I bet a few times back east. That horse looked great on the gallop out, or galloping around Santa Anita. And I'm going to use the 3, the 4, the 5, and the 7. Gio, I liked Zio Joe last time, and I might put it on again because you like it again. But I'm going against Hermano Ramon. I'm just taking a stand.
Well, if you like Almendaris, then put a little mark next to Uncorked in race 3 at Santa Anita. That's called bonus coverage because of those 2 who worked, Uncorked looked phenomenal. And 3-1, that will be a big win play for me tomorrow. Just had to get off because we have to compare, right? So
exactly,
little bonus coverage. I love it.
Well, those 2 worked in company, and there was one was clearly better than the other. I know that's only one work, and sometimes Skip and I were talking about another horse in another sequence that worked well 2 back, and then not that good the last time. That's where it gets a little bit confusing. You kind of got to play chess sometimes. But all right, one more time, got to make the comments there. We've got plenty of viewers, so we need 5 of you to make a comment. Hello. You guys are idiots. I like a horse. Anything. Chappie looks like a hat model. Whatever. Call it what you want.
We've heard from Frank. Frank Signona's in there. We've heard from Andrew. We've heard from Dean. Delmar Dennis. Kelly says hello. Keith Stafford says hello. So bring the comments in. We still have one more race. You still have a few minutes as we talk about the big cap for you to get on entered. So come on in. Keep giving us your comments, whether it be just a hello or if you want to share your pick for the big cap.
Yeah, and then one of the team will be coming in or texting me the names. We have nothing to do with this. I can't multitask, so somebody else is coming up with the names. But we've got a little bit more time. All right, let's go to the last leg. We're all 4 for 4 here. These things have been paying phenomenal. I can't remember who's up next, but this is the 10th race, and this is the Santa Anita Handicap presented by Yamava Resort Casino. And, guys, sometimes in this race, obviously with the Dubai race, with Saudi Arabia, with some of the races that have been around it, with the Pegasus, at one time, the big cap was the biggest race going. And as of late, it's been some of the same horses. It's kind of nice to see at least a couple of these shippers coming in, right? And Skip, I'll go to you asking about Locked. I mean, if you look at Locked hasn't lost to anybody not named Fierceness or White Abario since his maiden race in 2023 at 3-2. Is this horse on the top of your list, or what are your thoughts with the shippers, and what else are you looking at here?
The way that the ticket, I mapped it out. I'm singling here. That's why I kind of went a little Spreadsville and the other legs. I like Locked an awful lot. I think both shippers are going to be tough. I like Locked better. I do like that they're putting the blinkers on. Last time in the what was the last race?
Pegasus
World Cup. That horse broke. When they broke, the horse's head was sideways. That horse wants to be closer to the pace. That horse was a lot farther back than he usually is. And White Abario, nobody was going to beat White Abario that day. White Abario ran through the TV.
Not to interrupt, but before we did that preview show, and yourself and Scotty basically said White Abario cannot lose, and he ran off the screen, and this horse turned its head and still ran second. So
still ran second, made up a lot of ground. And you know what, Gulfstream Park, they can't make a whole lot of ground on that main track from what I've seen. This horse finished good, puts the blinkers on. It came back to work 3 times after that. I think this horse is going to get a great trip, and I think it's the class of the race. There's other speed, Miramati, JB Strikes Back. New King might show some speed, and then the two outside horses. I think Locke's going to get a great trip, and that's my single.
All right, Gino, I'm going to ask you one thing, but I'm going to make a comment about it. We've been talking about the two shippers. I haven't seen or heard in the mornings of Locked, and this is not a work, but I'm going to give a shout out to Jessica Summer Doolin, who's been out here in the mornings, and she showed me some pictures of Hit Show just jogging and galloping around the track, and just on those looks, the horse looks like $10 million. Now, I can't compare to Locked, but a horse cannot be looking any better in the mornings, and that's just on appearance. That bowed head looking like a monster.
And I respect both of them quite a bit.
Skipper, hold on. Go ahead, Skipper, real quick.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I on my notes too, I put looks great galloping at Santa Anita, Locked. On First Bet Racing, they showed it galloping around the track. Obviously not a work, but they showed it galloping around, and Locked looked great to me in the mornings also.
Okay. Did you cheat? Did she send you that info too?
No, I just was watching. I looked for the works, and there was no works, but it showed it galloping around Santa Anita, and obviously likes the track and has raced here in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, when it ran against Fierceness and Muth. So,
Gino, back to you. Sorry to interrupt, my friend. Go ahead.
No worries. What I like what they've done with Hit Show overall. So he was in the Derby. He ran fifth, a pretty good fifth too. That was the only time he went 1.25 miles. And then he was 1.5 miles in the Belmont. He ran fourth that day. Since then, when they came back in 2024, they were very, very logical with where they placed this horse along the way. They didn't throw him over his head in grade 1 races. They put him in spots where he was going to be tough almost all the time. He's in the Cornhusker. Look at his prices. He's basically 7-2 and under in every single race. And they've just kind of let him take them to those races. This is like such a perfect spot for him to try to step into a grade 1 because not a lot of this field likes 1.25 miles or is proven at 1.25 miles. And that's kind of the difference that I had between with him and with Locked. I respect them both. Hit Show has a really nice foundation at 1.125 miles. So in just watching his races, they don't look at all like 1.25 miles should be a problem for him. And I 1000% agree with Skip. When you're looking at this race, it's hard not to just think that JB Strikes Back, he's got to go because he's had such success when they've been forwardly placed with him. We know Miramati, they have to be really aggressive with him because if he's not on the lead and clear, he just doesn't run the same kinds of races at all. And then what do you do with the horse like Midnight Mammoth? Even Tarantino, he's been really good when they've gotten aggressive with him and tried to keep him in the races. So I think all 4 of those horses, their best chance of winning this race is if they're forwardly placed. It should set up really well for Hit Show or for Locked, both of them coming off the pace. I lean Hit Show, and I will throw in one more horse. I'm going to do it. It's Fountain of Youth weekend, so I'm looking for the Fountain of Youth from Express Train. Ponce de Leon here, who is the 1.25 miles horse, right? We know that Express Train 3 years ago won this race in 2022. And when you're looking at 1.25 miles, he might be one of the only real horses late who's really a 1.25 miles type. He's going to go third start off the long layoff. He kind of woke back up with a pretty good effort last time out. Fountain of Youth all over. Express Train's going to be in the mix for me too.
I had Gino at 80-1 mentioning Ponce de Leon in this show, and he actually hit it.
You got bingo. You got the bingo card.
I won. I did actually pick Express Train. I think it's the shippers, right? For some reason, sometimes those shippers don't do well. I did actually pick Express Train third. I thought the horse kind of goes in and out of form. Looks like he's actually coming back into form. That I feel like Express Train's ran in the last 17 big caps, by the way. Doesn't seem like at least every big race we have, he's awarded, man. But and look, he should get a good trip, and I think he's actually doing well right now. And like you said, that distance is not everybody can handle the 1.25 miles. All right, we do have some winners here. We do have. Let's announce these here for the cap. Dean H. Delmar Dennis. Kelly G, Andrew, and Keith S. and
Awesome.
Chappie. Oh, no. I can't win.
Oh,
Sorry.
Chappie, look what you did. But we will say Delmar Dennis, he gave us a pick too. He said, keep it easy at a price. Romans is hot. So not only does he get a hat, but he gave us something in exchange. How about that from Delmar Dennis?
I like it. If I had something else to send him in here, I would. Maybe Pepto-Bismol.
I was going to say,
if he loses.
well, if Keep It Easy wins the 13th, then he might be needing some of that headed into the last leg. You know, if he's alive and rolling.
You live for like 20 grand, Delmar Dennis. There you go.
Hey, I'm right with Dennis. I like Keep It Easy, so we're on the same page, Dennis.
Hey, take it easy. Keep it easy. All right. So Dean H, Delmar Dennis, Kelly G, Andrew, and Keith S. And I think you can message us on Twitter, but they will also message you on Twitter if that makes any sense. So
we'll reach out.
Those hats will go out next week. All right, Gino, real quick, we got a lot going on. Hopefully we did that well. You know, wrap us up for the weekend. What's going on, especially tomorrow, all around the country. Tell us.
So we had the Coast to Coast Pick 5 right here show. So hopefully we were able to help you out with all of those graded stakes races. But don't forget, the San Felipe at Santa Anita is before. We didn't even get to talk about that one with Kentucky Derby points on the line. There's also a free to enter contest every Saturday and Sunday at Santa Anita. Pick'em.santanita.com. While you're kicking back and watching, you can play that contest. It's $500 to the winner. Doesn't cost you anything to enter. Also, the Ultimate Betting Challenge tomorrow, which is Santa Anita and Gulfstream, a huge contest because the NHC is coming up in just a few weeks. So if you're a tournament player, it's a big month or so from now on. So you want to go to ExpressBet and take a look at that tournament section. You can get in that huge Ultimate Betting Challenge. And before you start firing away, head to shop.drf.com. Everything you need on over there. You can even get one of these shirts like I'm rocking if you want to. I'm pumped, guys. We love these kinds of days. 14 stakes races between Santa Anita and Gulfstream Park. If you can't find some action tomorrow, you're looking in the wrong places because we've got plenty for you.
That's right. And we'll be back tomorrow morning, by the way, on the Morning Line Sports Show. That's on AM 830, computer am830.net, on Instagram Live or Facebook Live. It's the Morning Line Sports Show, TML AM 830. All of us, that's an hour show, 8 a.m. Pacific. All of us will be giving some picks. We have other guests on there. Trainer Micah McCarthy will be on. He'll go through every horse in the sequence. And trust me, if you ever had somebody who tells exactly like it is, he does. So, and I got a couple 10-to-1 shots I'm giving out tomorrow that we haven't covered on the show. Not that they're winners, but it's so many. Yeah. So, and then we got the 5 giveaways, and for Delmar Dennis, some Pepto-Bismol. So, thanks, guys, gentlemen, for Skip, Gino, and the Hat Model.
And remember, we do this every Friday. If you're one of the newer viewers who's checking in, every Friday we preview either the Coast to Coast or maybe the Pick 6, something that's happening in the big races on Saturday. So just subscribe to the YouTube channel below, and then every week when we do these shows, you'll be alerted, and hopefully we can lead you in the right direction to a few winners. So good luck, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you next week. Good luck. Let's get some winners.
Good luck, everybody.